Now, I know this video gonna be controversial and some people are not gonna like what I'm about to say. But I'm gonna say it anyway, I don't care. Black Americans are right to be mad. They are. You see, us immigrants, not all of us, but a lot of us, seem to forget, or maybe they just don't know. But if you have been living in this country long enough, you should know that. The reason why we're here, the reason why we are allowed to be here, is because of the work Black Americans did. Because of the sacrifices they did. Because all the fights they had to fight in order for us, for them, because they didn't do it for us, they did it for themselves, and it's right. But today we are enjoying the fruit of their labor. And we should not forget that. I'm an immigrant. And yes, in my community, or in the immigrant community, and nobody can say otherwise, is a lot of disrespect for African American. Is a lot of it. I have heard it. And I have to admit that when I first came, I was also ignorant of their history. But after being in this country, for the amount of time I have been here, if I act like I don't know that, it means that I'm willingly demeaning them. They are mad. And you know what immigrants should do right now? We should not be arguing with them. We should be quiet and listen. Listen to what they're saying. Listen. No. It is not about us. It's about how they feel. It's about the experience. And guys, they are right. Many immigrant community call them lazy. They're not lazy. They even say they don't have a culture, and that's an insult. Of course they have a culture. Of course they do. In the music, in the food, in the way they live their life, in the way they dress. They have a culture, and by the way, a culture that is a leader in many ways. Our children in Africa dress like black children. Children in Asia dress like black children. Children in Latin America, in Europe. So please stop saying, and it's not only limited to clothing. It's in music, it's in history, it's in literature, it's in science. The immigrant community need to stop demeaning and disrespecting Black American. They are mad, and they have all the right to be mad. Now, if my immigrant community or my African community want to come after me for what I say, that is on you. I don't care. Because the truth is the truth. And we need to admit where we're coming short. You're going to come to people's house and you want to look down at them? You want to disrespect them? Yes, not all Africans. Yes, not all Latino. Yes, not all blah, blah, blah. All Asian, blah, blah, blah. But enough to make a lot of noise. But enough for them to be mad. Rightfully so. We need to be quiet now and listen to what they have to tell us. No doubting the experience. No undermining the experience. No forgetting the accomplishments. We need to stop that. We need to stop
fraudulent attempts on our account. If I find out Medea and Pastor Bussy had anything to do with this, I was told that they can be arrested for federal offense. I was told they can be arrested for federal offense. I was told they could be arrested for federal offense. Now, with that being said, brothers and sisters, Dr. Umar has access to no money right now because my personal account contains all of my money. I only send it to Apple Pay and PayPal as necessary. So the Prince of Pan-Africanism, for the first time in my life, is without any digital currency. So for my loyal supporters out there, if you can spare a few dollars so I can take care of Queen Mother Ifa Tunde and myself until my bank account is frozen or canceled so I can get my money back and open up a new account, please hit my Apple Pay or hit my PayPal. My personal PayPal account is Umar the Psychologist at yahoo.com. So that's paypal.me/Umar the psychologist. PayPal.me/Umar the psychologist. PayPal.
Peace and Pan-Africanism. This costed 59 cents. This costed 59 cents. One more time. This costed 50. Okay, let me stop, y'all. Oh man, yeah, man, our boy, like, okay. I got several bank accounts, right? If you got several bank accounts and some of them are having issues, you just go to the other one. I got one I don't never even use and stuff like that. Here's the thing, y'all, man, look. And I did a story not too long ago. I just had to feel like, because I used to do, I guess, whatever they call community work, right? And this is one of the reasons why some people kind of be like, well, you know, I don't really want to do the Pan-African thing because it's so many suspected kind of scam things running on. They run under the banner. I was gonna do this another time, but I'm probably gonna end up doing it now. But I think I'll do another deep dive from the technical standpoint. OneDrive. My homie from Eritrea was telling me something. I do another channel with him. I don't really talk about that much. But he was talking about how, and he's not a Pan-Africanism, but the concept he was saying, that's what he was saying. I don't even think he used that term before. I meant to ask him, like, man, are you a Pan-African, bro? Like, do you know? I don't even know if he used that term. But what his motto was, anytime that a white man shows up to another place, he's white. And he said that's how black should be. No matter where you're at, it's an open door policy. That's supposed to be the concept of Pan-Africanism, right? Anywhere where you at. So if I see another brother on the street, which I typically do, give him the head nod. If he don't give me a head nod back, usually he's from a different place, but he don't know what I'm doing or whatever like that. So when I give brother a head nod and he just looks at me, usually it'll be a foreigner, so he don't know that culture. But when I give a head nod to some brothers, somebody say, what's up? Especially if they've been around here. They know what that means. That's a black greeting. I'm acknowledging you as a black man. We don't give head nods to sisters. We don't do that. In back in the day, we would probably tip our hat. Nobody does that anymore. That's some old Wild Wild West shit. You know, maybe I should bring that back. But you say, how are you? You know, or you might kind of say hi, and then, you know, and then you kind of bow your head a little bit if you see a sister. A brother, you give a head nod. Or you say, all right now. So now, getting back to what the concept of Pan-Africanism. One of our larger legends from Jamaica, Marcus Garvey, couldn't get it off the ground there. They weren't interested. He came over here. People are saying certain things that he might have been, I'm not sure. That's something more to investigate or whatever like that. To me, Marcus is a legend. We put him up there with the Malcolms over here. Now, there's been some things that we've heard, but I haven't really dug into it. You see what I'm saying? Now, I went to Umar. My homie Simba Ali brought him up here one time. Because niggas was scared of him back then. Niggas was scared. Because what I'm saying is his idea of what black folks should be, and you know, he has in-depth analysis on psychology and all that kind of stuff. So that's good. The books are great, all of that. I went to North Minneapolis. My homie Simba brought him up here. I missed the first one in the Urban League when he went up there. My homegirl was telling me about him. My brother was telling me about him early on. Hey, this dude named Dr. Umar. I started listening to the videos around 2014, maybe 2015, I think. I said, man, he go hard. It was a little before 2014. My brother told me, hey, you know about Dr. Umar? He said, man, and we were getting ready to go see him. We missed him a couple times, but we went to the east side at a church. Me and my wife went. And I noticed when we left, he was looking at us kind of weird because we left early. We wanted to get out there early. And you had a couple brothers that actually had some white women up in there, which was, you know, but they wanted to go see him because this was a scholar. This was a good scholar. He knows what he's talking about. Here's the problem. Over time, black folks was giving him bread. Bro didn't deliver. That's all it was. Even when people were like, well, man, look, man, Umar need to get that school. I was defending him. I said, no, leave bro alone. He cooking. He doing his thing. Let him do his thing. It's a good brother. He probably can't get, well, whatever. I'm vehemently defending this nigga for years. Maybe it's something with the school. I finally seen the school, whatever. So then I start thinking, I seen this brother named King Randall down there in Texas. Then there's this other nigga in New York named Q-Butt or something. I heard that he called the police. Umar called the police, so I don't know if that's true, but this Brooklyn nigga with gold teeth. I seen the shit he was doing. Like, he doing all this engineering with kids and all this, all kind of like, I'm like, damn, this nigga standing on pencil sticks and stuff like that. So I said, okay, he's doing the work. I look at King Randall, the conservative nigga, the one that was mad because Elon gave him all that money and all that support. Fuck. Elon, he want to give being black and RT some support. He could do that too. He ain't gonna do that because I'd be kind of getting on him. Anyway, the brother down in Albany, even to this day, fighting tooth and nail to have a school. They don't want that dude to have that school. Even some folks in the community, Negroes, they don't, because they changing the status quo. These niggas might want to get their little check. They want their biscuit. They want their fish fry. They want to go to the Congressional Black Caucus. They don't really want shit. They really don't fight for reparations. But this nigga got a school down there. He's teaching kids how to do HVAC and use, you know, the proper way to use firearms, how to build fences, put toilets in, all kind of shit on his own. Now, there might have been donations, but he went and got a school. And he got a nice size school. They just vandalized it. They don't like, folks don't like him because he's not a buck broke male and he believes in a lot of nuclear family values that black folks always had. He's a conservative, likely Republican or whatever. Most black folk, King was a Republican, so was James Brown. That's the old Republican part. Okay, whatever. But he's doing the work, right? And he's delivered. That's the difference. Let me calm down. He's delivered. So now, Umar could probably just go back in psychology or something, man. But the thing is, folks don't really want to get behind that anymore because they're like, wait, we didn't see this. Folks didn't see the school. My wife donated years ago. He sent her back. I wasn't gonna say this. He sent her some money back. He sent her a note back on Cash App. Well, sister, you could do more. I said, oh man, you see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. So just like I'm not going to take away his scholarship and his experience, I think he knows what the hell he's talking about. There's a lot of stuff I use in that book. I'm going to get the second book because I need that information. You know what I'm saying? About the schools and stuff like that. I need that. I know how to separate information from, you know, you need donations. What about the books? You sell some more books. Press up some books, bro. Look, man, look at my shit. Fuck that. I'm about to start promoting. I don't promote myself enough. Hold on. No, hell no. Niggas asking for donations. You can get this book on beingblackandit.com for $14.99. Hold on. You can get this book on beingblackandit, or you could go to Amazon. You can get this book. I'm a black American. I'm a foundational, I'm a freedman, I'm a black American, I'm a freedman. You can get this book for $14.99 on Amazon. If you read this book, you're probably gonna get some money. You can get the second book for $30 on Being Black and IT. You can get this book for $30 on Being Black and hold on one more time. You can get, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, okay, man. I hate to do it like it's funny. It's funny as hell between the hoes and all the stuff, and you know, like, and his daughter. It's like, damn, bro, like, and see, we all on the internet, so we're open for criticism. You can criticize me. My paperwork comes back pretty straight. I ain't scammed nobody. Ain't nobody really gave me no money. But if you want to donate to our Cash App, Being Black and IT. If you want to donate to my Cash App, Being Black and IT, I don't really be asking for no donations and stuff like that. That's not how I get my money. But see, now, you see how I just did that, right? And I repeated it 3 times. So now I'm trying to sell you something. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm really trying to sell you something. You notice I don't promote as much as I should. Most of my time is making either videos or, like, you know, I do a lot of, you know, I be hooking people up with jobs and stuff like that. So I don't really promote as much as I ought to. This should be in every damn school. Well, this one, it probably won't be. The Department of Education, I sent them this. They like, oh, he's talking about college. They like, oh no, he's trying to, you know, he's like, oh, skip college. That comes out of our budget now. But there should be special grants for the freedmen because of what they have done to our schools. Even when Virginia, they talked about how, like, I mean, what they're doing to my schools now, what they did when I was telling you I was a data analyst, what they were doing, denying black kids from over north. We should have all kinds of grants and stuff running out there. Man, they just hit, there's another new fraud autism case in Minnesota. I don't want to hear about what kind of money they ain't got. You see what I'm saying? But you got to look at these things. And here's the thing, man. When you have people that get behind you and you don't deliver, then it looks, when the next Pan-African niggas comes up and start saying, well, let's go back to Africa, and, you know, I'm the descendant of Pharaoh, and I'm the descendant of Moses, and I'm the descendant of Timbuktu, and I'm the descendant of this, and I'm the descendant of that. People start just thinking, well, it's just something for the internet. I'm not an internet personality. I don't have an internet personality. I don't. I might crack jokes and stuff like that, and I tell stories, but I'm not an internet sensational kind of Negro. I just don't have that flair. You see what I'm saying? I don't. And I can admit that. So I don't really have nothing, so to say, to sell. I don't have all the topics of all the new gossip sites, and I don't talk about the new Drake and the Kendrick Lamar every 5 minutes on this channel. That's not really what I do. I don't like take every new thing that comes out every 5 minutes and just put it on there as clickbait. I don't have a clickbait type of site. You see what I'm saying? So every now and then, you know, I might have a little fun, like doing it. I mean, it's funny. But at the same time, it's very sad because the brother's idea of what Pan-Africanism is supposed to be, which ain't happening. It's a bunch of one-way street coming from here. Let's be honest. Let's be honest about all the stuff that black folks in this country have done. Most of it is a one-way street. All the shit we've done that everybody else's benefit, we never got back, man. Let's just be fucking real, man. Immigration rights, civil rights, all that. We did all that shit and we ain't got nothing back. We imported our culture. We ain't even got nothing back from nobody. It ain't been no two-way street. So, you know, when you hear that term Pan-Africanism, that's what it's supposed to be, like that. Ain't nobody opening up dual citizenship at an alarming rate as they're letting the Asians and the white folks in the motherland. They're not. They're fucking not, man. I know people personally that's been putting in work over there for decades, and they ain't gave them no open door for all the work they done did. They should be kissing the ground they fucking walk on. But that's not happening. Bits and pieces and maybe some citizenship here and there, but it should be an open door policy just like the white folk. That ain't happening. It's not. You got to bring some money over there. So Umar, he'll probably go back and forth. But the thing is, even let's take the school to the side. Let's just say the school was built and everything was just great. A lot of Negroes over here that talk about that stuff that he talks about, they don't go over there. They don't. I had an opportunity to go to Ghana, right? But I got to make it make sense. I'm leaving my family for a whole 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? I want to know what I could do, but you got to kind of build a relationship over time. Or you got to bring some fucking money. I know that because I know someone that you have to bring a bag. You have to bring a bag, bro. You must. They're not going to just let you just come over willy-nilly. It doesn't work like that. So you have to build a bridge over time. Now, Umar might have done that, right? Let's just say he has. You don't really have too many other people of his ilk of so-called that self-proclaimed Pan-Africanism. The princes and the kings of Pan-Africanism, they weren't really going over dealing with Umar to open up the Pan-African bridge. Now, here's the concept. The concept doesn't necessarily have to mean I have to go over there. But people keep saying go back. Okay, then you have to open a bridge, right? If the concept of Pan-Africanism is just like, okay, any black person we share, we have $1. Okay, you could do that. We kind of do that here, maybe not so much abroad, but black folks support black-owned businesses here. Could be more, but now, where's all the people? We're just saying, let's say the school didn't happen. Let's say the hoes and his daughter didn't call him out. Let's just say he's just straight, a clean-cut Pan-Africanist. Clean cut. Ain't ripped nobody off. There wasn't a whole bunch of people of his ilk that were doing what he does that was trying to go back to Africa. My folks have not been back over there for 400 to 500 years. So I don't have a direct connection of anybody I could talk to. I would have to, I'm saying if I'm looking for my roots. Now, if I'm just saying, well, you know, I ain't no paperwork, genealogies to hell, I'm just going to try to just meet somebody and do business. That's a new relationship. But far as me going back into my roots, all I can say is, yeah, somebody from my dad, my mom's side, because my dad's side, you are your father. My dad's side, I don't know. I can speculate at this point. So now, we're talking roots now. My mom's side, there's somebody that from what was called Nigeria during that time. Nigeria was not called that during that time. Some white lady named it in the 1930s or something like that. But somewhere in that area, my folks probably came. One of my grandparents, they are full Indian. But she probably married someone from Nigeria or something like that. Something happened. We're talking about 1768 on my mother's side. So I would have to go connect with somebody, whoever that would be. I don't know who the hell that would be if I really want to trace it, to specific. And there's nobody that has connections to that current tribe. So I'm have to do a serious amount of sifting to find who my family actually was directly. I'd have to go over there. I'd have to go to Nigeria or somewhere around there, because remember, Nigeria was not called Nigeria back then. So some white person or some colonizer or some dictator nigga probably said, well, this area right here is probably where we came from. That could be anywhere over there, but it probably came from somewhere over there. So I can't say, well, you know, the Mumbo Jumbo Chief Tribe, and we will just all know that. And even then, if I put on the feather hat and start jumping around the teepee, I'm probably not gonna know who that was either. It was a long time ago. I'm not gonna know. I might find out what tribe, but it's not like it's not an easy pinpoint. I just look at some paperwork and I might have somebody to know somebody. You know, it might be a cousin, and you might meet the nigga, don't even want to deal with him. Like, this nigga's a shyster. So that's my mom's side. My dad's side, we don't know. We can only speculate that they came from somewhere, and then there's an Indian part too in that 1800s. They were full bloods, but somebody was black, of course. I'm hearing stories of a white motherfucker. So I'm hearing stories that one of my great-great-grandparents was white or something like that. I don't know, mixed, but white. So now I don't know if he was a plantation owner. Great-great-granddad, you white, you might owe me some money. If you own my people, you owe me some money. I need some bread. So now I can trace my folks back to that. So really, from a Pan-African ideology, dealing with other black people and doing business and just doing well by them, and that's why I said about the boycott. I said, well, just stop spending money. Me trying to boycott all African businesses, I don't go to all African businesses. But if you're gonna say we're all African, well, then I'm boycotting all black businesses then. If someone's going to say that, right? But as they say it, you have black folks online and Africans online arguing about what they're gonna boycott. If somebody's not treating you right, you just stop. You stop with it. But now, so now getting back to this Pan-Africanism thing, the next Umar, people are looking at him sideways because he did not deliver. He didn't deliver. I didn't want to believe it. I was kind of like, man, hold on, man. This brother's trying to get stuff together. I thought that he was really trying to make a link between here and Africa. That's what I believed. The books was great. I needed a second one because I have a child. I have a child dealing with some of the shit he's talking about. I can vouch for that. It's accurate. These things that we dealt with when these white folks was doing all this shit, I'm not going to get into any detail. All of that, there was things that helped me kind of navigate a little bit. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't have that. I don't have that, that background. So I'm going to somebody that I think I could trust. As far as history, I could study that on my own. Y'all seen what I did. I wasn't bullshitting around. I brought receipts. Now, there might be some stuff that people don't agree or, the delivery or whatever like that, but I went in and I dug in. I went and actually got that shit. You can't deny this shit unless you deny the scholars. There ain't nothing you can fucking deny in here. Nothing. Now, with the Aboriginal stuff and all of that, okay, y'all give me that. But most of the stuff here, I brought it from scholarly articles. There ain't a whole bunch of stuff. It's not a bunch of mumbo jumbo makeup type of shit. You see what I'm saying? I brought in a lot of numbers and facts and stuff. You know what I'm saying? So there's not a whole bunch somebody can just say, well, hey man, this man's just scamming and grifting and all that. You can't really do that with that because I did research. He did research on those books. He's worked in the psychology field. So I took that as, yeah, I can believe this guy, right? So history, I can figure that out. If somebody's not telling the truth about some history, I can just go look that up and I can research that. But when it comes to me selling you something that you're actually doing, people are like, well, man, the next Dr. Umar is going to have a hard time. And that's really what the issue that people have. So yeah, if you're asking for donations and you got 2 bank accounts and you have another bank, you said you don't have another bank account, you could go get one of these right here. This is what you could go get, bro. You get a Cash App. I'm saying you could get another Cash App, but he said, well, that thing might messed up or something like that. You could get, man, look. Let me see if I got another one. Okay. Y'all can't really, ain't nothing you can really see. You could get a branch card. I mean, you know, like, you can get other bank accounts. And see, here's the thing. And this is why we're critiquing you more, Brother Umar, because now you're a psychologist, so you're brilliant and you're smart. So there's some of the shenanigans that we see going on, far as, you know, the women and the daughter and stuff. We're kind of like, okay, your advice far as marriage and all that, folks, they got to take that into account. They have to take that into account because we see patterns. And you're repeating yourself 3 to 4 different times. So you are the descendant of Frederick Douglass and you're the descendant of King Tut. So we're thinking, like, since you are a descendant of King Tut and you're the descendant of Frederick Douglass, we know Frederick Douglass was a smart man. So you kind of putting yourself in this little money issue. Now we like, all right, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, so here's my question at the end. Should we be Pan-Africanist? Should we support Pan-Africanism and support Dr. Umar? Should we give him a Pan-Africanism PayPal? Should we give him a Pan-Africanism PayPal? Should we, under the banner of Pan-Africanism, give him a Pan-Africanism PayPal? Should we do that? Should we donate to Dr. Umar? Should we give him a butter biscuit Pan-Africanism pancake? Should we give him, because he probably don't eat swine. He probably don't eat swine. He probably don't eat swine. Should we give him a turkey sandwich with, should we give him a turkey, bacon, butter biscuit, Pan-African pancake with some glucose, King Tut, Timbuktu syrup on the side? Should we give him a Pan-Africanism pancake with a Timbuktu, gluten-free, incense, raspberry, incensed, baked pancake on the side? Should we do that? I'm just wondering, should we do that? Because he's saying it's a federal crime, which is punishable by jail time. It is a federal crime because it is punishable by jail time. One more time. It is a punishable crime. So now we start asking this question. Were you committing fraudulent activities, Dr. Umar? I'm asking. I don't know. Were you committing fraudulent activities, Dr. Umar, under the banner of Pan-Africanism? Because see, if you were doing that, Brother Umar, and you were going to Africa and selling the other brothers and sisters from the motherland, you were selling the brothers and sisters from the motherland. You were selling the brothers and sisters from the motherland the idea that we could do business. Because he went to these different places. Dr. Umar has been to Africa several different times. So the black folks over there, I'm just gonna say black because we black. And if you don't want to call yourself black, that's fine. I don't know what the hell we could do with you, but anyway, the black folks over there might have been sold on that too. So did you scam other Africans? Did you scam other Africans? One more time. Did you scam other Africans? See, these are questions that people are asking now. Here's another question. Was there Africans involved in the scam? Because you've been over there several different times. Was there other Africans involved in your scams? Because this could be a scam pipeline. They said there's some things about Garvey. Because I went to that Jamaican spot that I be going to, and I asked them, man, I said about Garvey, because I want to see what they had to say. Because Garvey was having trouble really getting stuff off the ground over there. So he came over here, and we brought up with open arms, like, oh, okay, Pan-Africanism, bet. Hell yeah, let's do it. That's what was the mindset with black folks when Garvey was doing his thing. I've been looking at some CIA reports lately. I've been looking at some articles with the CIA where I was like, wait a minute, we might have to kind of look into this a little bit. We don't really want to believe it because we hold these guys in these esteem, but I don't know. They might be hitting me with the Karinga. What's that one nigga that broke up the Panthers or whatever? What's his name? Kwanzaa. We don't support that bullshit. We don't do Kwanzaa. I got a couple family members. Happy Kwanzaa. Man, we don't do no damn Kwanzaa. That nigga was involved in something. Yeah, I think he was involved in something. I think he was messing with the feds or something like that. There was a lot of them there was a lot of them Kwanzaa Pan-African Fed niggas. There was a lot of that going on back then. People say, well, now, like, were people ratting back then? Man, 30 pieces of silver. Well, was people ratting back then? Was niggas telling and ratting and working back then? Yeah, 30 pieces of silver is the answer. 30 pieces of silver is the answer. Who got 30 pieces of silver? I'm not going to tell y'all. Somebody got 30 pieces of silver. Who got 30 pieces of silver? If it happened way back then the feds gave them niggas 30 pieces of silver. If Judas got 30 pieces of silver, best believe niggas got 30 pieces of silver. Working with the FBI. If they did something wrong and they ain't want to do no time, yeah, the feds will give you 30 pieces of silver. It's happened here in Minneapolis. It's happened, that shit's everywhere. That's nationwide. Folks was ratting back then too. Now I don't think Umar's a Fed. I don't think he was with the Fed. I just think he just didn't deliver. Because he would have had under that Fed money, you probably got all kind of shit. His bank accounts wouldn't be like that if he was a Fed. If he was a real Fed, Feds get paid. There was this nigga in Minneapolis. Maybe I shouldn't. Well, that nigga. I'll say this. That nigga ain't gonna worry about nothing. He working. He ain't got to worry about nothing. That nigga. He. You know what I'm saying. He still walk around to this day, man. He ain't got to worry about nothing. They ain't, put it like this, man. It's Cadillac Escalades and below. They ain't worried about nothing, man. If you a Fed, you ain't, you're not asking for donations. So I don't think he was a Fed. I just think he just didn't deliver. And this is my final analysis to it, is that, now let's go back to Africa. Hold on. How many people was sold over there? Because he had to have some kind of connections, because he went to a lot of different African countries. And I remember at one point he was going to all these different colleges where he was bringing students and stuff. So like, let's look back at his work. A young brother, the next Umar is what I'm saying. Without the flim flam, I'm saying. The stuff that he was doing was applaudable. Now, why he was doing it and why things didn't get delivered and all this other little stuff that's going on. But what I'm saying is, this blueprint, he went and wrote a book for black folks that works. I'm talking about from the psychology standpoint, these psychological ideologies and stuff. Because psychology, you can't plug it up to a machine. You can plug this bitch up to a machine and it works. You do this and it works. Everything that it's tech. So if you do it and you have the right game plan, you're able to convince people to hire you and you do the work, it works. It's tech. It just works. If it's broke, you fix it. Psychology, PTSD, all this stuff that happens to our kids, autism, all that, that's a bunch of white motherfuckers that sat around and said, well, this is probably autism and this is probably what's happening. Someone had to look at these behaviors and patterns and say, well, this is probably what it is. You can't plug nobody up and say, what is this? I could plug up my blood to a damn IV and I could test it. Well, nigga, this what you got. You can't test this. So it's up for grabs. So you could Sigmund Freud it, you can Arkham Asylum it, you could, well, I think he has this and maybe he has that. It's a bunch of maybes. It's psychological, it's your brain. You could come up with a new theory, you could come up with this, you could come up with that. People have made books and came up with ideas of what they think it might be. But you can't hook nobody up and say, this is exactly what it is. So you got to give spectrums and graphs and theories and all kind of stuff of what you think it is. Well, he's schizophrenic. Okay. Who came up with that name? He might have went to a war. Well, that's PTSD. Who came up with that name? Someone had an idea and said, well, this is what we think it probably is. And we've seen enough people that have went through this and have had these things happen psychologically. But we still don't know everything about it. So they're ideas of what we think they are. You see? So the things that he did, far as bringing black folks to certain schools, the idea of building a school, that's good. All of the stuff that he did, minus the flim flam and all the other stuff, that's something worth taking a note. You don't have to rebuild the wheel, but the trust factor is in question of the next Umar. So the next brother and sister that comes along and does it, folks think it's just a Pan-African scam. That's what they think. You have to deliver. You have to deliver. They say this stuff about P. Diddy, what he did. P. Diddy delivered. R. Kelly did these bad things. That nigga delivered. Nobody really gave a fuck about what R. Kelly was doing as long as he was delivering. Does anybody notice that? Nobody really cared. They knew he had a problem when they signed him. This nigga was getting touched by his sisters or mamas or some shit like that. That nigga was getting molested by all kind of motherfuckers in his family in Chicago, they say. They knew what they signed. Nigga can't read. A musical genius. He delivered. Gold, platinum. He was getting folks money. The managers didn't give a damn. When you deliver, people, a lot of times people don't care. They don't give a fuck about what you did if you delivering, because they getting some money out of it. When you deliver, people don't really care. I'm gonna be honest, folks don't really care if you deliver. They'll look past some of your infidelities. I'm not saying that's a good thing. But Umar did not deliver. And he's done it for a long time. And that's what people were looking at. Because when you have, and I seen the school, they said they vandalized it or whatever like that. And, you know, I'm hearing, you hear reports about whether it was leased or whatever. At this point, doesn't matter. You did not deliver, sir. And men deliver. Men, we hold men to a different, we hold other men to a certain standard about delivering things and doing what you're saying you're going to do. Because if you do what you say you're going to do, that's almost more than half the battle. When you don't do what you say you're going to do, folks automatically start writing you off. They might give you a little bit of time, but they start writing you off. So now going forward, what do we do? What are we looking at now? Who's the next Dr. Umars? Whose people that we can donate to? Here's a better thing. Donate to Umar. Should we donate to Umar? I don't like seeing him like this. It's funny, but he be doing funny shit. It's up for criticism. It's funny. I'm saying that, you know, the antics and all that, it's funny. It's like you a personality now. Folks don't take you serious. So we gonna have some jokes. We all gonna have some jokes. You gonna get some jokes. Folks gonna give you some jokes. So you gotta take that. But you put yourself in this position, bro. And we don't hate you. We still got some love for you, but we just can't trust you. Y'all know you got a cousin just like that. You do. You got a cousin just like that nigga, where you're like, man, this nigga here, man, you know, and you love him, but you like, I ain't about to get in this scams. You got an uncle just like that. You have an uncle that done got fresh out the pen. The nigga done put a fez on. He's Nation of Islam, Black Power, this, that, and the third. And he kind of keeps that up for a little bit. And then now he gets into the flim flam. Starts talking like Wallow after while. Wallow got some money. So Wallow could talk that shit. People say money don't change you. Shit, it just makes you more what you is. You let me get some money. You don't think I went crazy. Because I'm going to go and I'm going to help who I want to help. I'm already helping to a certain degree. I go crazy. They be like, man, DP done went off and he done bought all kinds of motherfuckers cars. Yeah, I done been MC hammered. I probably lose it all because I give, a lot of times I give more than what I get. But imagine if Umar would have got 30 million. Would the school have been built? Maybe. Maybe. And he's not the only one. But at the same time, I could speak from the perspective of where I live. What Dr. Umar did, you got some niggas that did this times 70. Now this wasn't with just no school. This shit was with autism centers or, you know, feeding kids. This feeding our futures is even worse. And I'm just gonna be honest. We talking black. A lot of these Somalis that got involved, I'm not talking about all the Somali community. I'm not gonna say that. But the ones that was involved, I believe if it was us, they would have pulverized us. They would have did us like Eugene and Diddy. They making excuses over how many, oh, we don't have resources to prosecute all these people. And they still doing some prosecutions out here, but they start talking about what they can't, what Umar did. They did what Dr. Umar did times 50. Go look it up. They wouldn't have gave Dr. Umar that kind of damn money. You don't think Dr. Umar would have got that damn money if they would have gave it to him? Dr. Umar got money from the soil. He didn't get no white folks giving him that money because his ideology, true Pan-Africanism, let's be honest, y'all. True, real Pan-Africanism, how it's supposed to be. They're not going to fund that. They're not going to fund that. Minnesota funds foreigners. They get government grants. The U.S. messed up Somalia. They messed up their country. It was probably a military base or something. I don't know what they did. Messed up their country. Messed up their country. They messed up their country and they shipped them over here. And they used government money and government grants and they put them in Minneapolis. You already had black Americans here. You didn't need that. You could have put the money in us. They're not going to do that. Why? This $200 million Feeding Our Futures ordeal, and it's just getting started. They got another thing going on. They talking about this shit's $1 billion. And I think they're connected. The white lady's the ringleader. She should be sitting in Guantanamo Bay right now. I haven't even heard her sentence yet. She started talking about she didn't know what they did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Way worse than what Umar did. Much, much worse. And they don't get the smoke that Dr. Umar's getting. I'm gonna be honest, I ain't heard one podcast nigga call out these niggas over here feeding our futures. They should be insurgents against sedition against the United States for that shit they pulled off. I don't really hear nobody really. I'm the only person that really talks about it, I think, to that degree, to actually put it in the right context. They should be, everybody involved in that scam should be sitting in fucking Guantanamo Bay as U.S. terrorists for what they pulled. Because y'all did this shit to kids. That was money for kids and people eating. Humanitarian work. Dr. Umar skimmed off a few bucks so he could go sleep with some hood rats and have some incense descending to Pharaoh soup or some shit like that. That nigga fucked a few hoes and scammed us for a school or whatever the case may be, and maybe an apartment in Philly. So he got us out of maybe $1.5 million or whatever, so he could probably get, sit up with a couple of hood rats so they could, what he called him, shank his sausage and pound the Pan-African panda. He had a couple little broads that want to pound his Pan-African panda. You know what I'm saying? And ain't nobody said shit about feeding our futures. Hold on. Oh, I'm gonna go a little deeper. Where's the Pan-African smoke for these niggas here in Minneapolis with this feeding our future shit? Yeah, let's talk about the diaspora war. There ain't nobody from the diaspora that's getting on black Americans about us wanting to acknowledge our heritage. We know our folks is from Africa. Ain't nobody on TikTok or none of that shit saying, hey, what's this old tether ass shit y'all niggas just did with this feeding our future shit? That was the bit. I think this is the tether move of the planet Earth. Yeah, when people say, well, you know what, the tethers, there's no big of a tether move than this feeding our future shit. This is tether of the century, because you fucking with some money. This shit's supposed to go to kids. You were supposed to help your people out with kids and eating. You wasn't supposed to take that money and buy no fucking mansion and no yacht or no bullshit like that. That shit was supposed to be for feeding kids. And there's nobody from the Pan-African community calling that shit out like that. Not like that. Here's what you having, man. I'm gonna be honest, because this is tied in. And Umar was talking about, we don't need no, remember when he said that? That was another thing I forgot to talk about. Umar was talking about, we don't need no reparations because we ain't gonna know what to do with it. Morgan Freeman said some coon shit the other day. Immigrants built this country. They ain't built shit. We're not immigrants. We were forced to be here. We were brought on slave shits. And a lot of y'all niggas fucking sold us. Let's talk about the folks that sold us. The white folks didn't do it on their own. Niggas sold us so they could get trinkets, and they came back and got their ass. Okay? So now, let me calm down. We're saying, yeah, we got 300 to 400 years of this bitch, and we've done stuff that nobody else has done on the planet. We're acknowledging that. And yeah, we're genetically African. My folks was fucking 500 years ago somewhere. I admit that. You can't get mad at that. The people I'm talking about, I'm not talking about all the brothers from the diaspora. All the people that got smoked for the freedmen. And this some internet shit. But since we on the internet, I'm on the internet. So now, they don't say nothing about feeding our futures. They don't say, well, that's a Pan-Africanist scam or whatever like that. They're not saying that. They're not calling that out. Do you know how many black Americans, black folks, Africans in general, that money could have helped? And they're not calling that out. Niggas are sitting up here talking about a fucking boycott. You know what I'm saying? And here's the thing. You can't, even if there was a boycott here where niggas said, well, let's boycott the Somali businesses. Niggas don't really shop at Somali businesses like that, and vice versa. They got their own little thing, so you can't really boycott them. That's pretty genius. That was gangster. They moved their money around amongst each other. But now, yeah, you couldn't boycott that if you wanted to. So, and this is really a black American and specifically this West African thing where they going at it or whatever case like that. Folks going to sit down and say what the issue really is. You were told not to rock with us many years ago, sitting on the TV. Okay, you can't use that no now because we got this. We got you can't use that no now. So whatever your parents told us about us or whatever, can't use that no more. So now that there's something else. This shit can be ironed out. It can be easily ironed out. You got to sit down and say, all right, what's the issue between each other? Let's sit down and straighten this shit out. What is the issue that I got? You're saying I'm not acknowledging that my folks 400 years ago was born. All right. Okay, now what's the other issue? You see what I'm saying? This shit should have been taken care of a long fucking time ago. But now we're having this issue now. You see what I'm saying? But now, at the same time, you got the Pan-African niggas, you got the Umars that will say, like as he said, well, you don't need no reparations because you wouldn't know what to do with it. Dude, my great-great-grandparents toiled in this damn soil since 1768, even beyond, maybe. They owe some money, dude. You tripping. Because everybody else got paid, Japanese, Jewish, people still getting paid. So, natives, so you can't use that argument. You say that because you probably want to get some money from somewhere else. So at the same token, you told us, let's rewind that, now close. You told us that we shouldn't get no reparations, Umar, because we gonna go trick it off on Cadillacs, hoes, and rims. And we gave you money and you tricked it off on Cadillacs, hoes, and rims. You tricked it off on hoes in this imaginary school, man. Under the banner of Pan-Africanism. And that's why a lot of black folks is kind of like, man, because when they think of Pan-Africanism, some people don't really know what it is. They think of Umar. That's what they think. They think of Umar. And Umar, you did a disservice to people because that's what they think. They think of you. When Pan-Africanism is supposed to be, when I see another black man on the street, head nod, hey brother, you got a business? That's Pan-Africanism. I see an African walking down the street, hey brother, you got a business? That's Pan-Africanism. Police hemming some niggas up, I know they innocent. Hey, y'all good or whatever? Hey man, they trying to annihilate us over here. I gave him my license and registration. You know, he's pulling on me, he's doing this, he's pulling guns on my daughter. Hey, you good, brother? That's Pan-Africanism. If we really want to talk about what Pan-Africanism is, when I show up at the shores of Ghana and I show up in Mozambique or wherever the fuck it is, when I show up on that shore, I ain't got to pay a whole bunch of money to get up in there. Hey, brother, come on and eat. That's Pan-Africanism. That's what true Pan-Africanism is supposed to be. And Brother Umar done messed it up. Well, he's one of the people. I'm just saying. So here's the question. Here's the grand question in my rant. Should we give Brother Umar help in fighting the federal investigation charges? Should we give the Prince of Pan-African? He's the prince now. Now, Prince usually got a royal bag, so he might have a little account somewhere else. Should we give him some money for his Pan-Africanism, roseberry incense, Erykah Badu, Soul Sister, gluten-free syrup? Should we give him some money for his pork-free, Jimmy Dean, 98% fat-free, sausage, egg, cheese, turkey-based bacon, Pan-African pancake? He needs some gas. So should we give him $5 to $10 to $20 so he could ride his Toyota Pathfinder? Cause you know that nigga ain't got a RAV4. He was getting a couple money. He got a Pathfinder. Them motherfuckers about $70,000. Should we give him $25 to $30 to $45 to ride through the streets of Philly under the banner of Pan-Africanism? Should we give him one more time, should we give him $30 to $45 so he could ride his Toyota Pathfinder 2017 through the streets of Philadelphia? Because Philly should be rocking with you too. And I heard some reports from some brothers in Philly like, I don't know. So that's the question, y'all. Should we do that? Because now if we do, we can't say, yeah, you know, I don't know. BeingBlackandIT.com, $15. I don't got nothing to sell you. I don't have no concept to sell you. All I got is game. All I got is proof. Should you go to BeingBlackandIT.com? That's y'all's choice. You may not want to go. I might be running a scam. My analysis for the African boycott gets put. I'm gonna put this up in a minute. Like, I might be running a scam, y'all. I don't know if y'all can trust me. I might be running a scam. You know, I got a big old backyard and a, you know, decent sized basement and stuff. I could be running a scam, y'all. I don't know if you should trust me or not. I don't know. I don't know. I might have made these books so I could be a passport bro. I don't know, y'all. Y'all, I don't know. You gonna have to do some research on me, because I might be coming with a Pan-African scam. I need my Fez hat. This hat ain't gonna work. My brother, On Point Arms. Yeah, this, I don't know. I don't got my Pan-African. I ain't got my fez. I ain't got my what my homie said, a moist American hat. I ain't got a moist American hat. I might be brother to scam. I might be Scammy Davis Jr. We be scamming. I might be scamming. So I don't know. Y'all gonna have to do some research on me. We gonna have to do a little bit of digging. So I could be scamming. But nah, yeah, man, I just thought it was crazy, man. So, you know, I'm gonna post it and everything, and like I said, I don't like, I hate to see a brother like that. We gonna have our jokes and stuff, man, but I don't like seeing a brother like that, man. You know, I don't think, I don't wish nothing like that, you know what I'm saying, to anybody that, but you know, sometimes you know, if you dig your own grave, then you just you gotta bury it with the shovel. You know, you gotta bring your own tombstone if you dig your own grave. Not everybody's gonna bring your tombstone. You know, when you dig your own grave, there's some bars here. When you dig your own grave, you're going to carry your tombstone. I want y'all to think about that. When you dig your own grave, you might have to carry your own tombstone. Because when somebody else digs your grave, people are more apt to carry the tombstone. Here lies this. You see what I'm saying? If you go tomorrow, what are they gonna say on your tombstone? What are they gonna say? And you don't really have the control over what they gonna say about you. What narrative they're gonna use. You see what I'm saying? We didn't allow them to trash Kobe because this broad with 5 to 6 different pieces of DNA at one time, he done hooked up with the little heifer in the hotel. But they want to protect whiteness. We didn't allow them to dig his grave and just write anything. We wrote that shit. Black America said, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, he might have cheated on his wife, but this white hoe, she didn't have 5 to 6 different DNAs in her at a time. And he paid her off. We didn't allow the narrative. We controlled what the narrative was gonna be. We were like, no, we ain't gonna let you do Kobe like that. We called out the Kales, the Oprahs and Kales. We called them out like, hold on, heifer, you asking these weird questions. That man ain't even fresh in the ground. His daughter was in that helicopter. We won't care about that white hoe. That white hoe was going around bragging about how many men she slept with. Oh, I want to sleep with Kobe. When that man was in the ground, we didn't let you paint that certain narrative. We didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? So if we know that there was somewhat of honor before people went, we write a good narrative. You know, we write a Black America, we write a good narrative. We write the narrative we want to write. We don't let the white media determine the narrative. You know what I'm saying? But now, if you was like someone else, it'll be a different narrative written. Depending on what you did. But when you dig your own grave, you're going to have to bring that tombstone on your own. If you dig your own grave, that's going to be the last things that people remember you for. So you don't want to dig your own grave. Let somebody else dig it.